Hello, and today we're going to be looking at the Coronation Top 20 Fund. Coronation is one of the more popular investment managers in South Africa, and the Top 20 Fund is a popular choice for South African investors. Hopefully, by the end of the video, you will have learned how to navigate their website, and you should know their best 20 local stocks that they own at this particular point in time. Let me know if there's an investment manager who you would like to see me do a deep dive on, or even better, name a fund you'd like me to take a look at. Here I'm on Coronation's website, and there's a lot of useful information in here. And that's really the point of this channel. It's to guide you to the more useful aspects of various investment manager websites. And we will make our way to an investment document called a fact sheet. The overall goal of this channel is really to empower you and to help you make educated investment decisions going forward. So let's go find the top 20. There's a few drop-down menus here, and we can find the top 20 under funds and products. And we can see fact sheets and complete fund range. So if I click on there, we get a list of Coronation's complete fund range and fact sheets. And if I just scroll down, we can see there's top 20 there, but just some insight here. Coronation really categorizes these investment solutions really well. We can see here are these South African funds, and for investors looking for long-term growth, these are the funds that you should consider. If you are looking for income and growth, Capital Plus and Balanced Defensive are great funds to consider. Income and growth solutions are really for anybody who's looking to draw an income from their investments. So that's usually someone who's retired and you're looking to draw an income from your retirement savings. Income solutions, these are really for more short-term goals or short-term needs. Then we have building blocks. Building blocks, these are more niche specific investment funds. So here's a property fund. If you're looking for a resource fund, for example, you can find those here. And then Coronation also runs offshore funds. So you can see the list of offshore funds that they run here, and I will be making some videos on their offshore funds going forward. Scrolling back up, we're here to look at the Coronation Top 20 Fund. Here it is. Let's click on the name, and we get some really useful detail and data that we can really use to educate ourselves about the Top 20 Fund. I would recommend, if you are thinking of investing in solutions like this, navigate their websites and find their fact sheets, find some information, and really make sure you understand exactly what you are getting yourself into. And hopefully, this channel can help highlight some of the more important aspects to consider. A lot of this information, let's call this the top 20 homepage. A lot of this information exists in the fact sheet. And if I scroll down here on the right-hand side under fund literature, we can see here's the comprehensive fact sheet for the top 20 fund. There's also a PDF of the portfolio holdings, and we will go there towards the end of the video to round things off. We can see exactly which holdings the top 20 owns at this particular point in time. So scrolling back up, just some useful information. The launch date. This top 20 fund began on the 2nd of October in the year 2000. The fund size, so there's around 28.5 billion rands worth of clients' capital, clients' money that's being managed within the top 20 fund. This is really the South African general population's hard-earned money that they've allocated to this particular investment vehicle, and they'll be looking for their money really to grow over time. I mentioned this information exists in the fact sheet, so let's go ahead and dive right into the fact sheet. If I click on there, the PDF of the fact sheet pops up. I'm going to zoom in, especially for those of you on your phones. And here we have the fact sheet really has fund information on the top 20. And this is as of the 30th of November 2024. I'm recording this on the 12th of January at 2025. And so in the next week or so, the updated December fact sheets will be released. So all this information is as of the end of November 2024. What is the fund's objective? The top 20 aims to outperform the equity markets or the stock markets over the long term. That's a key term, and you'll hear me use the long term phrase quite a lot in this video. Importantly, what does the fund invest in? The fund would typically hold shares in a maximum of 20 companies selected from all equities or stocks listed on the JSE, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So simply, this is Coronation's best 20 stocks from the South African stock market that they've packaged together for you in one portfolio. It's really a 20 stock portfolio designed for South African investors. If I make my way to the right-hand side here, there's some numbers here in terms of the fees or the costs, what it costs you to employ Coronation to run your hard-earned money for you and to grow that money. And so if you were to, after this video, head to the Coronation website and allocate some cash to the top 20, these are the fees that you would pay. And I will do a video on fees, specifically on fees going forward at some point in the future. The interesting point that I'd make is there's another way to access investment solutions like this, and that's going through a financial advisor. And typically, financial advisors get access to these same investment vehicles, but at a significantly reduced cost. They pay less fees for the same investments, and it can be up to 50% less that financial advisors pay. Scrolling down, who are the fund managers or the portfolio managers? Neville Chester and Nicholas Steyn. These are the portfolio managers. They have the final say with regards to what goes in or what doesn't go into the top 20 fund. Neville Chester is definitely regarded as one of the best portfolio managers in South Africa, and Nicholas Steyn is highly regarded as well. It isn't just these two individuals at Coronation. Coronation has an investment team of more than 70 investment professionals. So Neville and Nick definitely have a team that help them make educated investment decisions themselves. The launch dates I mentioned on the homepage of the top 20. The fund began on the 2nd of October in the year 2000. An important metric to consider is the benchmark. This is the benchmark for the top 20, and really the benchmark is there. The top 20 is designed to outperform this benchmark, importantly, after fees. That's the goal of this investment. And Neville and Nick's they are tasked to outperform this particular investment for the investors invested in the top 20 fund. Some investment minimums. Again, if you were to go to the website after this video and you had some money to invest, you would need at least 5,000 Rand or more lump sum to invest, or you could set up a debit order, 500 Rand or more monthly debit order to allocate to the top 20 fund. Making our way to the second page, we have some information is repeated. There's the launch date, there's the fund size, there's the benchmark, and here are the portfolio manager names. So let's have a look at performance. If I zoom in slightly, I mean, the goal of these investment vehicles is really to help you grow your money. And if we look at 100,000 Rand that's been invested in the top 20 since it began in the year 2000, we can see this is how it's grown, that 100,000 Rand. That 100,000 Rand has turned into really 3.7 million Rand. And the key aspect here is that this performance is after fees. That's a great way to assess investment performance is to assess how you've performed after you've paid your fees. And then secondly, how it's performed versus its benchmark. Has it performed in line with what it said it's going to perform at? And here, the top 20 has grown that 100,000 Rand to 3.7 million after fees, whilst the benchmark would have grown that 100,000 Rand to just under 2 million Rand. So since the fund began, the top 20 definitely performing in line with how it says it's going to perform. And so doing a good job there, in my opinion. Just scrolling down, we can have a look at some performance over various periods. Again, especially after fees. So if we look at different periods, we can look at the last 20, 15, 10, 5, 3, 2, and over the last year. So let's start over the short term. We can see over the last year, so this would be the year ending November 2024, the top 20 fund performed at a 15.3% return. Now, in isolation, that's not a bad return. But versus the benchmark, which returned 17.1, the top 20 has actually underperformed its benchmark. And here, Coronation has done the calculation for you. It's underperformed by 1.8%. My key recommendation here is that these investment solutions, top 20 and equity solutions, they are designed for long-term growth. And so it's important to assess their performance over long-term periods. It's not very instructive to assess and make decisions off of periods like the last year. So I would recommend looking at least the last 10 years and more in terms of assessing how the fund has performed. And over the last 10 years, the top 20 has performed at 8.6% annualized return, whilst the benchmark performed at 8.7. So actually, top 20 is slightly underperforming the benchmark over the last 10 years. In its defense, it has been a very difficult 10-year period to outperform the benchmark. Um, Looking a little bit longer, remembering that these solutions are designed for multi-decade investors. So over the last 15 years, there's Coronation outperforming its benchmark over the last 20 years as well, outperforming its benchmark, and since inception, since it began. So I would say, although a difficult 10-year period, Coronation top 20 doing what it says it's going to do after fees. Just scrolling to the right-hand side here. Here are the top 10 holdings, the top 10 stocks that the top 20 fund owns. This has been updated at the end of September 2024. I think I mentioned that I'm recording this on the 12th of January 2025, and we should have the updated top 10 holdings in the next week or so. Some popular household names here, Standard Bank. Some of you may bank with Standard Bank or Nedbank. Here's Investec. As just something to consider as a shareholder when you buy a stock, whether you buy it via platforms like Easy Equities or whether you employ Coronation, specifically the top 20 fund, to run your capital for you. As a shareholder, think of yourself as a owner. You are a part owner in these businesses, and really you share in the success or failure of these businesses. So whether you go and buy some shares yourself, or perhaps you employ Neville and Nick to run or to pick, Neville and Nick are there to really pick the more successful long-term businesses for you. We will shortly go and have a look at the full 20 holdings for the top 20. Just scrolling down to the third page to round up the fact sheet. Here is the quarterly portfolio manager commentary. You can see Neville and Nick updated this commentary at the end of September. And basically, at the end of a lot of investment managers, at the end of their fact sheets, they have a commentary, and the commentary basically explains what's going on in the world and how that relates to that particular investment fund. So my recommendation, if you are interested in understanding what's going on in the world, and how that relates to a particular investment solution. Pick your favorite investment managers, go and look at their fact sheets and go and have a read of their quarterly commentaries. It's not long reading, but it should give you some lovely insights into what's going on in the world. Um, just going back to the um, top 20 homepage. I mentioned the portfolio holdings. Now, these have been updated also at the end of September 2024. I mentioned that there will be updated holdings released in the next week or so. And it's great that Coronation is nice and transparent. Here we can see exactly which 20 stocks exist in the top 20 fund at this particular point in time, and they categorize them nicely as well. So here's all the resource stocks. Um, the South African stock market has a large weighting to resource stocks. Here's the industrial stocks. So some of you may do your shopping at Spar, for example, or Dis-Chem. For the smokers out there, here's British American Tobacco. Um, the financial stocks. So here's the banks, Standard Bank again, Nedbank, Investec. These are popular household business names for South Africans. And you can see, if I just scroll to the right-hand side, you can see exactly how Neville and Nick have weighted these stocks. So you can see really Process, for example, is the biggest weighting. It's the more popular stock in the top 20 right now versus Exaro, for example, is only 1.59% weighting in the fund as of the end of September 2024. So I'll leave it there. I really hope you found this useful. Please remember, this is not official financial advice. This is just me sharing my knowledge and opinions on various investment managers and funds. I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye bye.